Hey everybody, it's Wayne Nance, CEO of Real Life Management. I'm back. Our book, The 3 Minute Difference, is going to cover some of this stuff that we're talking about. But if you don't read books, I'm going to make sure we talk about something today that is really important. We're going to talk about how not to be a good leader. Now that is a topic. You know, everybody in America, every corporation's got these leadership training programs. Leadership training. Isn't that interesting? I asked many people, what is leadership? And they don't even have a clue. They can't tell me what is leadership. You know, Cain, I got to ask you, do you ever talk to anybody about leadership programs?
Absolutely.
What is a leadership program?
Well, apparently nowadays it's just a video you can watch.
A video you can watch. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, you log into a website and then you can watch a video and then all of a sudden you're a leader and then they give you 20 or 30 or 100 employees to watch over and manage. And now not only are you a good manager, you're a good leader, and now you're good at watching videos.
Well, we're going to talk today about what makes up a bad leader. So we're going to go in reverse because we have so many bad leaders in America. You know, I told you not too long ago, we did a video about the Army and their leadership. 17% of leaders in the Army around the world were bad leaders. And I mean, they were highly educated, many of them. I mean, you know what's interesting is that the Army's over 400,000 people. Is that a pretty good sized corporation?
Absolutely.
And we found out that we have a lot of classes and a lot of talk about leadership. Matter of fact, I know people, I think there's a guy named John, somebody, I don't remember his last name. He writes books about leadership. And at the end of the day, we even at Real Life Management, we've got 15 steps that we call good leadership. And I'm not even going to bore you with those today because we know that most people are not doing 12 out of the 15. Let me give you an example of a bad leader. A bad leader is a procrastinator. Now, I want you to know that over 60% of people we survey around the world are procrastinators. So if you are a procrastinator and you put things off, you need to understand, number one, you're a bad leader. Bad leaders text and email everything. They don't believe in making phone calls. They don't believe in talking to people. They believe that you write them a letter. You know, used to in the old days, back when I was younger, if you wrote people a letter, that was a backup plan to talking to them as human beings. Well, nowadays, it's our main way we communicate. We write letters, we send text and email, and we hope you get it. And we're going to give you instructions of how we're going to do business together. We're going to lead, quote, our team, and we're going to do it through an email or a text and hope you read it. Hope you got it. So if you are just a texter and emailer, you're a bad leader. That's two things right there. And if you're a procrastinator and a texter and emailer, you're a double bad leader. How are we doing so far?
Doing great.
Okay. If you are indecisive, I just can't decide what to do. I think I'll do nothing. You're a bad leader. If you can't make a decision, now usually you don't make a decision because you're afraid that somebody won't be happy. Oh my goodness. You know, if you watch our telecast, we're all about you being happy. So at the end of the day, if you want people happy, you're a bad leader. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't make them happy, but you have to make them happy within the range and restraints of what's important to you to get your mission done. If you're worried about your job promotion and your next raise, and so you put things off, you're a bad leader. Congratulations. How are we doing so far, Mr. Cain?
We're doing great. All of those are awesome. And you actually were telling us a story about what was happening in the Army that wanted a promotion and they wanted the next star. And while they were waiting to be shipped off for combat, someone actually pulled the trigger and you knew who that was. And so that's the type of leader we don't need.
Yeah, but you got to remember that when we put things off or we're indecisive or we send a text or we send an email, we're learning to avoid. So if you're good at avoiding issues and hope they go away, you're a bad leader. Congratulations. If you feel that people have your best interest at heart and everything's going to be okay, and you assume. How many of you assume? Now, I used to know what the definition of the word assume is, but we will not put it on this telecast. But I think that certain people know what the word assume means, right? So if you're an assumer, everything will be okay. I assume they read their email. I assume they read their text. I assume they read my mind. I assume everything's going to be fine. I assume the best in everybody. You're a bad leader. What are you laughing about?
That's good. You're cracking me up, man.
Now, I want you to know that the key to success, here's the key to success as a leader. Stop failing. Stop failing. Now, for all you TikTokers, I love TikTokers. They call me grandpa. They tell me, oh man, shut up. I love it. I love you. Hey, by the way, why are you so excited you're a TikToker? I mean, anybody that names a social media platform after a clock can't be that great. TikTok, TikTok. Come on, give me a break. You ever thought about that, did you? They named a social platform after a clock. TikTok. Give me a break. So at the end of the day, all of you great leaders watching, which a lot of you have probably said yes to everything I said don't do so far. Here's one that's really going to get you. Leaders, start early, get there first, stay late, finish last, and make sure that everything's done by starting early and staying late. How many of you don't do that? Well, you're a bad leader. Now, how about this one? They do everything nobody else will do. They do the dirty work, whatever it takes. They'll do everything everybody else says is uncomfortable, unpopular, inconvenient. They do it, and they gladly do it. If you don't do that, you're not a good leader. How are we doing in leadership? Now, we could do one of those leadership programs. If you want to be a good leader, they'll do the following things. And we even did some of that in real life, didn't we? We wrote some of those lists. And now I just don't even show anybody the list anymore because nobody follows it anyway. Oh, here was one of them. That makes my nose itch just thinking about it. Here was one that I did put on our leadership list. I put, will you quit on them? Will you quit on them? Got any quitters out there watching? You see, if you get in the middle of things and things get tough, do you just quit? Do you give up? If you do, you're not a good leader. Y'all are getting it. Boy, y'all are really getting this. I am so proud of how y'all are doing out there. So I like that one. Will they quit on you? That was my number 12 on the real life management, 15 keys to leadership. Isn't that amazing? There are people that do these programs for leadership around the country. I know that I talked to corporations and they said, oh, we did a leadership program. Oh, great. How'd that work out? Well, we spent 3 hours one day and we did that program. And I said, well, has it turned the company around? No, but we checked the box. We did a leadership program. And then we did a team building. Oh, those are one of my favorite. In team building programs, back in the day when I had black hair, they used to have these team things that they would send you out on the grounds and have a picnic. And they'd put people up on a tower. And you were supposed to be able to understand that if you start to fall off the tower, one of your team will grab you. They were teaching teamwork. And then we found out later that people tried to push people off there they didn't like. And so they stopped going out and doing the things on the tower. So at the end of the day, what I'm really saying to you is let's get real. Most people that are in leadership positions that say they're a leader, they're not a leader. They're like a manager that was given a title. They were like a supervisor given a title. And then they run around telling everybody I'm a leader. Because a good leader doesn't assume. A good leader works hard. First one there, last one out. A good leader won't quit on you. A good leader doesn't hide behind the text and email. Did you know, Thomas? Did you know that people now use email and text to hide from obligations and responsibilities at work.
I do know that. In this system, we actually identify if people will avoid the conflict altogether. If it's a very hard conversation, they'll want to send a text message or an email just to avoid having to talk to somebody. And that's what's happening in our leadership today.
Oh, so are you saying that real leaders are accountable? Real leaders are responsible? Real leaders don't hide behind their email and their text?
Absolutely. Pick up the phone.
So if you hide behind your email and your text, you're not a leader.
You've made that perfectly clear.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Hey, I want to hear from y'all. I mean, I know that we've had a little bit better response. What are we up to, 10 people watching now?
I think maybe 10.
Boy, I tell you, if we ever hit 11, we're off to the races. But now I'm glad we picked up some TikTokers. TikTok, TikTok. You know, because they're really into time management. TikTok. You with me? Now, time management, isn't that a good one? Mm-hmm. You know anybody disorganized? Yes. Do you know anybody that can't be on their schedule and get their meetings done and can't get things done? Have you ever met anybody that says, I'm sorry, that's a leader? You can't say I'm sorry if you're a leader. Now, you may be a sorry leader. You can say that. But you can't forget what you're supposed to do and honor your commitments and be late to things and have bad time management and then just say, I'm sorry and that's okay, I'm forgiven. Mm-hmm. Would you believe there are leaders, whatever they call them? Mm-hmm. You see, you're a manager or a supervisor by title. Are you a leader? Is this video today making you uncomfortable? If this video makes you uncomfortable, you're not a leader. This is an uncomfortable video, isn't it? You know, I've been around corporate America over 50 years. I've trained supposable leaders. And after I gave them the survey, which we always give them before the class, I knew when I gave them the survey that I could let 90% of them go on home. That we were going to be wasting a lot of time. Because you see, you got to want to be a leader. You got to pay the price. Mm-hmm. You know, in sports, they call them All-Americans. You know what that is? Mm-hmm. That's somebody that will what? Pay the price. Work hard. Come early. Stay late. Do everything that non-All-Americans won't do, right? Do they hide behind their text and their email? Mm-hmm. No. And leadership, but I'm talking about leadership to the point it even makes my nose keep itching. There must be something going on here now. So let me ask you this. Why did we decide to give dumb people smartphones? There's just things that I can't understand in this world. Now, everybody says, old man, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand. Why don't we rename things? Why would you give a smartphone to dumb people? You see, only 80% of Americans are struggling with their weight, their relationships, their money, and their leadership. And then we gave them a smartphone. Why couldn't we just rename the smartphone, please, once and for all? And then, if that ain't bad enough, we took the smartphone and now we put artificial intelligence on it. Now, first of all, if you're dumb, you were already artificially intelligent. You didn't need any AI. You was already dumb. And so if you're watching this and you got to use artificial intelligence to do your work, you ain't a leader. You dumb. Because the guy and the girl that wrote the artificial intelligence, they're artificially intelligent. They're fat. They're broke. They got broken relationships. They're writing up stuff and you take it as the gospel. And you're a leader? I don't think so. If you got to have a smartphone and have artificial intelligence to live your life, you dumb. You ain't a leader. What do you think about that, Cain? You okay over there?
I love it. I think it's great. I can't stop laughing. This is really good. This entire segment, this entire thing that you're even covering, man, it cracks me up because the way that you say it is so truthful, it's so honest, and it's in a comedic aspect, but it's very real. And that's why Wayne even created this company, to help people understand true acts of leadership, what that looks like, an entire system around identifying what that is, and then the training materials with it as well. It's a lot different. You can't just watch a video and go through our program. That's not how that works.
No, you can watch this video and know you dumb and a bad leader today. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell you, I just heard about this morning, about that grandma that got up at that Trump meeting. And that grandma told everybody what was wrong with America. And boy, she said she liked Trump. Boy, that made them really upset. But I want you to know, Grandma laid it on them. Mm-hmm. And I want y'all to know that I like Grandma. Way to go, Grandma. Did we remember Grandma's name? What was Grandma's name?
I don't know, Grandma.
Well, I'm sure it's everywhere. It's got Trump in there. And if it's got Trump in there, he's endorsing the message. So the point is, Grandma told it like it is. And sometimes those old grandpas tell it like it is. You see, we have coddled everybody. Everybody needs coddling. Everybody needs politically correct. Everybody needs heavy. No, we need to get over it. You young people, get a job. Get off your phone. And if you get a job and you want to be a leader, be watching what I'm telling you. Leaders are not just born. Leaders need to work on the skill. Now, we talk at Real Life Management about you have a core attitude. Now, I know you don't understand it because you ain't read the book, but I'm going to tell you that I broke the world into 3 categories. And we know which category makes the best leaders, and I'm fixing to tell you. Tugboats, barges, and sailboats. I made it a nautical analogy. If you've ever been out on water in a sailboat can go in multiple directions. They're flexible, they're adaptable. They're average leaders. Your best leaders are barges. Now, barges are like, straight down the road. It's got to be their way or the highway. They're not real friendly. They're not real emotional. But they make very good leaders about setting boundaries and keeping boundaries. Not every barge is a good leader. There's multiple kinds of barges. But in theory, barges make better leaders. Tugboats make the worst leaders in America. And they're the nicest people. When you meet somebody overly nice, do not put them in leadership. So at the end of the day, if you're out there in a human resource department, I don't know what that is. A human resource department, that's a whole nother discussion for another show. But a human resource department, I think, deals with humans. That is amazing how they did that.
The resource of humans.
Yeah, the resource of humans. And right now, I looked at the stats around American companies, and we keep putting people in leadership jobs that don't need to be in leadership jobs. So maybe we need to reevaluate what human resources look like in America.
They need new resources.
They need to, the people hiring the people need to have some new people hiring the people. So I need to talk to your people. But anyway, where was I? This is important, what I'm talking about. So what I'm really saying to you is that we know who the worst leaders are. So if you're a company watching this, you can take the 3-minute survey and call us, and we'll tell you who don't put in leadership. Matter of fact, we'll tell you who don't even hire. And then, at the end of the day, if you want to know who's an average leader, we'll tell you. If you want to know who can sell something, we'll tell you. If you want to know who don't sell something, we'll tell you that too. You want to talk about who's the leader? We'll talk about who's the leader. But it's a small group. It's less than 15% of America. Now, if we go around the world, it doesn't change much. They just talk a different language. About 15% of the world can lead. That means that 85% of the world is what? Following,
yeah.
And what scares me is when we try to grab that 85% and send them to a 3-hour training class or an online video series, and we made them a leader. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a question about leadership? We need to bring in our buddy, Derek Peters. Derek was in the ministry. Now, that's another group that doesn't understand leadership. Let's go ahead and talk about the ministry and leadership with Derek Peters. Derek, have you ever seen any better leaders than in the ministry?
I think the best leaders are in the church. No, I'm kind of joking on that.
Yeah, I know that was a joke.
What I've learned is that, in the church leadership is if you say yes to doing something, you're a leader. And I found that out for myself. I overcompensated into too many different areas. And I'm not the leader because I can't do all the things they want me to do.
So what you're saying is he wants you to do more than you can do, and they want you to do it cheap.
Correct.
Or free.
Or free.
Okay.
And if I don't know the answer, it's going to be, let me process about it. Let me think about it.
So if we take our worst corporate leaders and take them over to church, they can continue their bad leadership at church.
Sure.
That's a way to go. Maybe we can put them at the Little League and the YMCA and the Scouts. I don't know. We share leadership everywhere, bad leadership everywhere, don't we?
I think the boundary is a big thing. Nobody has good boundaries, and when there's not good boundaries, you just kind of open up to anything that's going on. And that's where my problem was and still is. I still have to fight against it because I don't set good boundaries and have values behind those boundaries that help me to go the right direction. Vision. So,
do y'all think that leadership has anything to do with accountability or responsibility?
yes,
Boy, those are dirty words, aren't they?
they are.
God, did I tell y'all earlier that I hate somebody saying, I'm sorry? Let me tell y'all the definition of I'm sorry. Just say, I'm inadequate. Don't tell somebody you're sorry. Say, I'm inadequate. I didn't do anything that I was supposed to. I ignored my responsibilities. But I do want to be accountable and fess up. I'm inadequate. Now, if you have to start saying as a leader, I'm inadequate, that don't feel the same as I'm sorry, does it? You see, I'm sorry. What people mean when they say I'm sorry, it means I'm sorry you caught me. That's what I'm sorry for. And I'm sorry, I think, will make you overlook that I'm inadequate. Isn't that interesting? That's what I'm sorry means. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think about that, Darren?
Yes, sir, I have. I felt very low at a lot of different times in ministry full time, just because they would make me feel sorry because I'm not doing what they ask instead of standing up. And that's where I started having conflict in leadership in the church, is that I started standing up for what was in God's word, what my values were. I started setting boundaries because of what I needed to do in my home as a leader in the home for my wife and for my son. And when I started doing that, they were telling me I was inadequate. The church is supposed to be first. And I had those things told to me. And I started saying, I don't want to lead in a church like this, because I want to be leading in an opportunity that is good for me with my values. And that's how God teaches us to lead out in God's word.
I believe you. And you brought up a good point. Does God know if you're a bad leader? Did you have to tell him? I think he knows it. I think he knew it before you showed us you were a bad leader. You see, now people are going to say, well, now, wait a minute. I don't want to bring this leadership thing into a God thing or into any, I don't want to get into that. Well, whatever. I just want you to know that whatever you believe in, I'm sure that that higher power has no idea who you are. You have faked them out totally. They have no idea. Thomas Cain, do you think they know anything?
Yeah.
You think God? You think God
knows it all. God can see it all.
Okay.
God can see you. God can see my problems and my choices and everything I do as well.
Now, this is where if you don't like what I've said, Dave, you go ahead and turn this video off. Because I want you to know, if you think I'm going to lighten up on you bad leaders, I'm just getting started good. We're going to have so many broadcasts where we talk about it. And I know when y'all go on the internet, you internet warriors, you know there's some internet warriors? Woo! You know, back in the day, we called them, well, I can't tell you what we called them. But anyway, the internet warriors are out there looking for key words. See, when you look for key words, you can put in old man and I'll pop up. You can put in opinion, I'll pop up. When you put in bad leader, I pop up. When you put in obnoxious, I pop up. Did you hear that? I'm going to annoy you. I'm going to annoy you because the truth hurts. Do you know the truth hurts?
Yes.
It's time that we call it like it is. If you are a leader and you lead by letters and emails, you ain't a leader. If you don't know how to keep everybody happy, maybe you are a good leader. Bad leaders keep everybody happy. You're not the happy counselor. You're supposed to lead people. And when you lead people, that means you're supposed to keep them out of trouble. How do you keep them out of trouble when you stay in trouble yourself all the time? So at the end of the day, good leaders have a few basic characteristics. There's some guy that I forget his name. He writes a lot of leadership program books, but I read one day. Here we go. Good leaders have character. How's your character? Or are you a character? You see, if you're a character, you're part of the problem. If you have character, you solve the problem. Isn't that amazing? I like that word, character. Coachable. Everybody's got a coaching program. I have met some of the worst people in the world in the coaching industry. Do you know that? Yes. They go, I'm coaching. Well, why are you coaching? Well, when I got out of prison, I decided I'd get people straight. Well, if you were in prison, I don't want you as my coach. Thank you very much. Now, I do like people that have had messed up lives, like me. I've had a lot of messed up things in my life. And so you can be a good coach if you've had some problems. But you got to make sure your problems are fixed. If you still got the problems in you to coach, we got a problem. I love it when I have a weight loss coach that's 100 pounds overweight. I love that. There's nothing better than a fat leader. I love fat leaders, especially when they tell us how to do our weight. I love that. I love broke leaders. I like people that have filed 3 or 4 bankruptcies teaching me money. Perfect leadership. I like people on their 4th marriage and they're doing marriage counseling. That's beautiful. I love it. People said, I had one lady said to me, she said, I've had some of my kids talk to me about suicide. I said, I get it. I met you already. And so my point being is that if you're going to be a leader, be a leader. You either got to lead or you got to get out of the way and follow. You can't do both. See, a bunch of y'all trying to lead and be in the back of the pack. You can't be at the back of the pack and lead. Either lead or get out of the way. Are you following me? Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution. Now, I'm going to grab a couple of more. I'm not going to give you all these. I'm going to make you have to go find them on our internet. I want you to be one of them warriors out there looking for stuff. But if you want to know another good thing about a leader, they have great attention to detail. Isn't that amazing? Have you ever met a leader that don't know what details are? You ever met a leader that can't find their stuff? You ever met a leader that can't manage their time? You ever met a leader that can't remember nothing? I don't think that's a leader. I don't think I'm going to talk about leadership anymore today. I think you're starting to get the hint. But just remember, if you are a leader and you're using artificial intelligence, you've been artificially intelligent for years. You don't need any more. You got enough. And you need to also remember that people that are artificially intelligent, that are telling you what to say and what to do, they're bad at communications because they got to hide behind a computer to do it. And as far as I can tell, if you don't talk to humans with a phone call, you don't pick up the phone and talk to people, you're a bad communicator. And I don't know if I told you, but if you're a bad communicator, you're a bad leader. Did I say that earlier or did I forget to talk about that? So if you're a bad communicator and all those other things that I said, you're a bad leader. And so you either need to get with the program or you need to get out of the way and get to the back of the pack and call yourself what you are, which is a follower. And I have a message for the churches, the military, corporate America, nonprofits, all you people that tell me, I did shows about suicide. I've done shows with, about abuse of children. All you people that say you got a cause and a mission, I got a message for y'all. Have a plan. Work your plan. Understand that people have attitudes and you better be a communicator. You can't do your programs that you call them when you don't communicate and you're not a leader. So if you're not a leader and you're not a good communicator and they're one and the same, and you don't know how to get in the trenches and really have a plan, stop talking about a plan. Stop telling me about your training that's ineffective. Get out of the way. Stop going after things you don't even know what you're doing. So at the end of the day, if you want to be a leader, you're going to have to learn how to, you guys won't believe this, you're going to have to learn how to lead. Is that amazing or what? Boy, is that profounded? Is that profounded or what is that?
Profound. Aristotle, Socrates right there.
Yeah, no, profounded is even better than profound. Profounded. Now, in East Texas, and I know a lot of you sophisticated people watching this one, it's more gooder. You need to be more gooder of a leader. You see, more better is better, but more gooder is really good. So let's get more gooder out there. Hey, I've enjoyed being with you. I hope you've enjoyed this today. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. It's been a lot of fun. And I hope that those people that they told me they're on LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok. Oh, you TikTokers. I'm just so excited that some of you joining us. And share this with people. Just share this with people. If you want to make somebody miserable today, share my video with them if you would. And last but not least, I know y'all don't want to spend any money unless it's on something that doesn't make any sense usually. We go out and we spend too much at the mall. We spend too much on, online. Amazon's our best new friend. I know that everybody's buying cars you don't need, boats you don't need. You're out partying and stuff you don't need. But anyway, at the end of the day, if you got $15 or so you want to spend, go to our website and just go to reallifemanagement.com, take the survey. You'll get you this 8-page report that'll tell you all about you, and it'll tell you if you're a leader. If you want to know if you're a good or bad leader, pay me $15 to tell you you're bad or you're good, even though you probably already know. Pay the $15. And if you want your money back, no, you can't have your money back. I'm a good leader and I'm not giving your money back. Hey, it was good to see y'all today. Remember, go to reallifemanagement.com, make your comments. Look on there. They told me somewhere on there you can send an email or your opinion. I hope they told me right because I don't have time as a leader to get into all the technology stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, if you want to spend $15 on something valuable to confirm if you're a good or bad leader, go do that. And if you don't want to spend any money, just watch me for free and let me keep you entertained. It was great to be with you. And remember this, today's choices is tomorrow's reality. Have a good one.
My name is Derek. Thanks for joining us today on our podcast. I want to encourage you guys to check out our website at reallifemanagement.com and take our 3-minute survey. We want to learn more about your attitude so we can connect to you, and we want someone to reach out to you about health, wealth, and relationships. So if you would, follow us on social media and stay connected so we can learn more together. See you soon.